Hello everyone, it's me, Clayton. I just got back from watching Irresistible, starring Steve Carell, Chris Cooper, Mackenzie Davis, Rose Byrne, and directed and written by Jon Stewart from The Daily Show. When it comes to our current political climate, with almost everything being seen as bad news nowadays, it's nice that we can get a political-themed comedy/drama with a ton of A-list actors giving it their all to give us something to laugh about in these uncertain times where the news seems to fill every single second of our lives. And while this film isn't exactly as clever as it wants to be, it does have some laughs to help us out. Let's get to the story, shall we? The story is that a Democratic strategist named Gary, played by Steve Carell, is trying to help out a somewhat inspiring mayoral candidate named Jack Hastings in the small Wisconsin town of Deerlachen, which is a very right-wing town. So a Democratic candidate being mayor there seems rather unlikely. But with the help of Gary's team and against his Republican rival in Faith, played by Rose Byrne, can he possibly manage to get Jack to be the mayor of the town? So the story here happens to mainly be used as a vehicle to make a ton of jokes at the expense of the election campaigns and at both the right and left wings of politics. And it's probably going to affect your enjoyment if you're a Republican or a Democrat, or even if you're in the middle, considering that it takes the option of making fun of everybody so that some kind of jokes will land, no matter what political side you're on. And in that respect, it does work sometimes. There are some jokes that clearly don't hit for me, but others that did make me chuckle, so I definitely see what they were going for. But I do think the jokes should have been more focused and more consolidated if they were going to get the biggest laughs. And I do think you kind of have to take a side if you're going to make a political comedy that really hits hard for either audience. If you try to do this half and half thing, it'll only work half the time, if even that. Thankfully, strong acting performances do help the jokes that do land hit as harder than they normally would. Steve Carell is, of course, a very good comedian, and he puts his all into a role that definitely needed a charismatic actor to make it through. And you could say the same for Chris Cooper as Jack Hastings, as he does portray the old classic American farmer type very well. Rose Byrne, I also think, was born to play this kind of devious antagonist character that she has. And her being the strategist for the mayor on the Republican side does allow her and Carell to have some great chemistry with each other, especially in their constant expletive-filled arguments. Some other actors like Mackenzie Davis and Topher Grace do great in their roles too, though they're somewhat limited in how much screen time they do have. In talking about Jon Stewart's writing and directing, I do think Stewart definitely has a lot of experience with political content given his career on The Daily Show, but it does feel like he doesn't exactly know the best way to get through that commentary through in film purposes. Because you have to understand, there's a big difference between writing for The Daily Show, a TV series that happens daily, and the content for a feature film. Especially since politics change all the time, and some of his material does feel 3 or 4 years old by this point. So some of the issues he's talking about are kind of outdated now, and they could be outdated even more so months or years in the future. And his directing pretty much lets you know he's a first-time director. Not in a bad way, but it definitely feels like a student film in some of the way the shots are put together, and when it comes to how safe the direction overall is. Even if it does have some funny video gags and a genuinely hilarious post-credits scene, which I definitely would recommend that you sit through the movie to get through. So overall, Irresistible certainly isn't the political comedy that would make everyone laugh if it was able to get into theaters, but I do think it'll provide some chuckles for those who need them during these uncertain times. That's why I'm going to give Irresistible a 6 out of 10. See you next time.